Hello, good morning. I'm here with Elene Marsden. Good morning, Elaine. Can you hear me okay?
I can indeed, Huw. Very loud
Excellent.
and clear.
Now, this is a bit of an experiment for me because this is really only my second live Google Hangout. But Elaine, you are a bit of an expert on this. And so I'm talking to you because I wanted to find out a bit more about how you got into Hangouts.
Oh, that's
And,
interesting. A long story. How long have we got?
well, do a short summary.
Okay then. Well, I was in America about 3 years ago. I was actually doing a Facebook mastery course with Nick Unsworth. And one of the girls I kept in touch with when I got back to the UK, and she contacted me and she said, Google Hangouts are coming. This is a space you should get into. It's going to revolutionize marketing, video marketing. So I had never heard of them at that point. So I investigated. And I just liked it. I just thought this is really an interesting, innovative way to get your message across.
And do you find it works for businesses? Because I know you've got a line in, it's Preloved Chica, and it's retro vintage clothing. It's very visual, I take it. But do you think this can apply to other businesses that aren't as visual?
Well, I think there are so many applications. Yes, you mentioned Preloved Chica. That's a regular show where people can talk about keeping clothes out of landfill. In essence, it's all about being good for the environment, having fun along the way, enjoying wearing clothing, but it's got to be pre-loved or recycled clothing. And yeah, it's very, very visual, and it's a community that's building and growing. And the whole idea is that you can meet me online regularly and find out what clothes I've bought, etc. But that's just one application. There are so many other uses. Like recently, you interviewed the UK Space Agency as part of iExpo, their event in Norwich. And that was a great way to promote an event that was coming up. The other thing that people do, particularly people who are authors, you imagine you've got a book, you've just written a book, and you'd love to get that book out to a wider audience. Well, a Google Hangout is a great opportunity. Imagine being able to invite your readers to come and ask you questions about your book, interact with you in person.
So how much control do you have? Because I mean, if you open up a Google Hangout in public, do you maintain control? Can people just barge in and say, "Excuse me, can I talk to you about your book"?
Yes.
That sounds quite risky.
Yes. Control, definitely control. Now, you control who you invite in. You can have up to 9 people inside this Google Hangout with you, but the people that get the link are those that you know in advance, those that you perhaps have already checked out. You can have what we call a green room event before you go live, where people can join you. You can make sure that their technology is working, because there's nothing worse than bad sound or poor quality video. So you can make sure that's all tested before you hit the go live button. But that's those people that want to come in and want to be part of it. Many people wouldn't want to be in front of the camera and would much prefer to be able to ask questions in what we call a live Google Wrap, a bit of software that enables you to ask questions and get your questions answered.
Right, so that's like the chat button where you can actually type your questions in on the side of the screen.
Yes.
That comes up a bit like when you're doing a private hangout on Google Profiles.
Type thing.
If you're not using your camera, you can.
Yes, it's like that, but I use something called Crowdcast, and just 2 weeks ago I interviewed Billy Bragg about his secondhand clothing purchases, which is very interesting, and lots of people were able to ask Billy questions through me. So I was able to read the questions coming in and say, oh, Nikki has just asked, how many pairs of shoes have you got, Billy? So that person felt that she was part of it, even though she wasn't inside the Hangout like you and I are today.
So Crowdcast is another platform, but you can run your Hangout through Crowdcast, and that just gives you more editorial control and the ability to invite in people, but filter their comments.
Well, yeah, I mean, actually with Crowdcast, it is an application, is one of many, there's lots of others, and that's public, so anybody could go and ask a question in there and could communicate within the group, but it's up to you which questions you use. You obviously pick the ones that are the best ones for your author or your guest, and you can choose.
But everyone can see those questions, can they?
Yes, yes, they can.
Right.
And the interesting thing is, in order to get inside that Crowdcast wrap, you have to sign in. So you sign in with either your Google profile or your Twitter profile or your Facebook profile. And that's interesting. So then, you know, the people who are actually inside the Crowdcast app, you can go and find out a little bit more about them. So, you know, they're not hidden people who just come in and say something negative and leave. You can actually see, you know, who they are and what they're saying on Twitter, for example.
Okay. So, I know short on time, and it's great to talk to you. Could you just give me maybe 3 top tips for people looking to use Google Hangouts live? Because this goes live to your YouTube channel, doesn't it? So you've got something that people can then go and see again. What are your 3 basic tips for people getting started in this?
Okay, so the first thing I would say, you need to use a headset. Like, it could be just like an Apple, you know, little earbuds. So that's the first thing, because sometimes if you haven't got earbuds in, there'll be like this feedback loop, and that can be really frustrating. So that's the first thing. And these are cheap as chips, really. The other thing is to get a good camera. And the camera is a little bit more expensive, but we recommend the Logitech C90, which is a plug and play camera. You just plug it into your computer, and it's high definition, and the quality of that camera is excellent. And you can get that on Amazon. So those are the first things. That's really the hardware. Then the other thing I'd recommend is to be clear about what you want to do. Why are you doing this? What's your outcome? Is it to build an audience? Is it to share tips, training? So to be very, very clear about the reason why you're running Google Hangouts. And if you can keep all those 3 things in mind, that's a great starting point, I believe.
Excellent. Well, your third one's very much sort of the same for blogs. You've got to have a clear purpose and a clear idea of what the result is and who your audience is as well. So it's sort of it's taking that from blogging, but then adding in the whole video bit as well, which makes it great fun. Yeah.
And maybe the other thing, sorry, this is a 4th tip. Check your backdrop. Check your backdrop. Now, yes. You know, the other day, I have to say, when I was interviewing this person, one person said to me, "Oh, look, they've just bought an Apple iMac computer. I can see the box in the background." So people will look at your backdrop, so make sure it's professional as it can be, and you know, pay attention to that. And also you can have various different lower thirds and get yourself all branded up as well in advance of your show.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Elaine. That's really fascinating, and I appreciate all your advice, and it's great to chat with you. And I look forward to actually seeing this live online. So we'll catch up again, I'm sure. And I'll also look forward to actually watching the interview with Billy Bragg, which I think I missed when it went live the other Saturday. But it sounds fascinating, so I think that's definitely one to catch.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, and bye then, Huw. Bye.
Bye.